Everyone, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. Today we're going to be doing a review here of the K-91, a Russian Tier 9 premium heavy tank. And it's an autoloader. It first appeared in crates, which is how I got it, but then I think it came back in the shop just for sale generally. And everyone snapped up at the chance because it was a pretty good tank, and so you now see a whole load of these things rolling around. So yeah, the K-91, it's an auto-loading Russian heavy tank, which is not something usual for what you see at Tier 9. The only auto-loading thing I can think of is the French tanks have auto-loaders, and the Progetto has that funny semi-auto-loader with an auto-loading system which isn't a magazine. It's weird how to describe it, but anyway, so starting off then with the K-91, it has got how much HP? 2,173 HP, and I think, yes, I have got improved assembly on here, so we take that off, it goes down to, what, 2,050 HP, which compared to something like the Kampfpanzer has got the same. The Mauschen obviously is going to have more. It is a Mauschen. VK's got 2300. I think the E75's got 2100. No, 2200. And then yeah, the Mauschen's going to have like 2500 or something. Yeah, 2400. So it's not got the most health out of my selection of tanks here, at least. Let's compare it to one other autoloader, which is the 5100. Oh no, sorry, the 5120. Which has got 2,100, so yeah, even the autoloader, 5120 has got more HP than this thing, so it really has not got the most HP out of everything here. And really I should be taking the Kampfpanzer and doing that. But yeah, so the HP is not that great, however the armour is pretty good, however. 220 frontal turret, 140 side, 120 rear, and 120 frontal hull, 100 side and rear, so it can side scrape. You can bounce some shots off your side armour. It's not as good at side scraping as something like the E75, for example, or the 4502B, but you can still technically side scrape this thing. The big weak point is, of course, this massive lower glacis. Look at it. It's like E75 levels of big old lower glacis. That is a very easy weak spot to hit, so if you are side scraping, you really want to expose very little of your tank when you're reloading with this gun. The front of the turret, though, very strong. However, you can get penetrated through here because, unlike something like an IS-3, I'll have to show my IS-3A here, or IS-3 Defender rather. Unlike something like the IS-3, which has got a very strong frontal turret, and it's all rounded at the side, the K-91 has got these two commanded cupolas up here which actually flatten off this frontal armour. So whilst it is very strong at the front, generally all around this sort of area, these points are the weak spot of the turret. You can penetrate through these things if you have a high enough penetration gun, like some of the German 128s, for example, with high pen. They can get through this part of your frontal turret, so it's not the most foolproof armour like an IS-3 or an IS-3 Defender. And then of course the sides are still weak, even though they are sloped. They are still not that strong. You can get some bounces off your frontal upper glacis, but it is a relatively difficult area to hit otherwise, especially if you can't go sort of hull down and hide this big old weak spot, because otherwise people will just shoot you through there. So the armour profile is a bit strange. It is pretty good in general, however it does have numerous weak spots, which makes it not as foolproof as something like the IS-3. So yeah, you want to keep that in mind. 273 meters view range, yeah, nothing too amazing there. 27 kilometers per hour average speed with a 13.4 power to weight, 19.2 degrees of turret and 32.85 degrees of hull traverse with an 820 horsepower engine. It's not the most mobile thing. For example, something like the 4502B has got 24, 10.6, 16 and 29, so it's slightly more mobile than something like a VK. What about something like an E75? What do we got here? 9.8, 23. Yeah, so it's slightly more mobile than these sorts of things. It's nowhere near as mobile as something like a Kampfpanzer for being a main battle tank. Most of my things here are either far too mobile or far less mobile. In comparison to, again, something like the 5120, even with a stock loadout here, it is still more mobile. If we fit a upgraded engine to it, it gets a better hull, better engine power, better hull traverse, better power to weight. The turret traverse is quicker, the hull traverse is quicker as well. So, you know, yeah, it's not the quickest of tanks. It's better than some, but then, you know, you will get outturned by something like a Kampfpanzer or a 5120, and that turret traverse is definitely pretty slow as well. So, you know, something to keep in mind there. But the gun is the main point about this thing, and it is a pretty good gun. 100mm D46T gun. 3.9 second aim time, pretty good. Very good dispersion, especially for a Russian gun. That's 0.33 dispersion, which is pretty good. 2600 DPM, magazine reload time of 16.88 for reloading all 3 shells in the magazine, with a 3.5 second inter-clip reload, I think is how people normally describe it, which is basically between you firing one shot and the next one being loaded in from the magazine. 248 average pen with AP, 310 with heat, because this gets heat instead of APCR, 50mm with HG, 350 average damage with AP, 300 with heat, and 420 blaze it with HE, with 7 degrees of gun depression and 10 degrees of gun elevation. So, you know, overall it's a bit of a mixed gun. It's very strange. It's not something that we have a lot of experience with in terms of, you know, 100mm autoloader sort of things, other than on the 5100 or a stock 5120. It's got some pretty good stats, but then again, also gun depression is still 7 degrees, so it's not too bad, but still only 10 degrees of gun elevation is really not that great. 2600 DPM, let's have a look at something like the E75 with that top 128, which has got 2100. So, yeah, better than something like that. The Kampfpanzer really is going to lose out with this 150. Oh no, 2296, okay, not too bad, but it's nowhere near as good as some of the tank destroyers, obviously. Just check quick with the Martian. Top 128, yeah, 2064, so it's still got a pretty decent DPM. Once again, if we compare it to the French 5120 with the top gun here, which gets a 2376 with the 120, with the 100, 2037, so out of the other, you know, magazine-fed heavy tanks at this tier, yeah, it compares quite favourably. That's pretty good DPM. The magazine reload is nowhere near as slow as you might expect it to be. That's actually a pretty good magazine reload time. Yeah, very good DPM, 2600. Very good accuracy and aim time. You can kind of snap off shots, but the gun handling is not the best. Very good burst damage, though. In the space of, what, about... what's it, 3.7 now, about 10 seconds, you can do, you know, over 1,000 damage average in the space of about 10 seconds, which is, you know, that's pretty good damage, especially if someone isn't focusing you and you can get those multiple shots into them. That will easily melt through, you know, half of the tier 8's HP if you can get all 3 shots in on them. With that very good average damage and pretty good average pen as well. That's 2mm more than something like the VKV75 or the Martian or the Mouse at tier 10. You know, with their big 128s, it compares favourably in terms of AP, but not so much in average damage, being a smaller caliber gun, obviously. Yeah, overall, not too bad of a gun on a not too bad of a tank. You know, not foolproof, but you can get a lot of bounces, and if you work the angles well in this tank, you can do pretty well. Yeah, again, weak spot is, you know, these bulges from the turret and the very big lower glacis from the front, and the gun is, yeah, pretty good. So that's the overview of the stats. Then let's move on to the other small minor stuff, like, you know, consumables. Obviously, repair, first aid, fire. You've got engine power boost, 20% to engine power for 15 seconds, but no adrenaline because it is an autoloader. So autoloaders obviously work with the magazine rather than a loader so no adrenaline for that. But you do get your multi-purpose, which is all three rolled into one. As for provisions, you've of course got standard and improved fuel for 3 and 10% respectively to engine power and turret traverse. Condensed milk and extra combat rations for your 3 and 10% to crew mastery, and then you've got your protective kit, which is all those things. So you can go ahead, mount them as you want. It as a premium tank, so you can probably run them and get away with getting a profit most games, because, you know, premium coefficient. 51 rounds of ammo, which is, you know, not too bad. You can go ahead, mix and match those up as you wish. You're not likely to run out of ammo. You know, with your long magazine reload time, and you know, you probably won't run out of ammo in the course of a normal game. So yeah, you can mount that as you want. As for equipment, I would say improve vents. You know, you don't need the calibrated shells for 260mm of pen. You do have very good pen for tier 9 heavy. Otherwise, so I'd say improve vents for the overall stat bonus. You know, get your DPM up by 41, woo, big deal, but still gets your magazine reload time down, and then some minor buffs everywhere. I'd say then improve modules for the extra track durability, because yeah, pretty standard now. Coated optics as well. You're a heavy tank. You can be a sniper, but you are, you know, kind of a heavy tank. You're meant to be at the front dealing the damage, not sitting at the back sniping people. I mean, obviously you can do that in this tank with that pretty good dispersion and aim time. You can, you know, magazine people from across the map, but I would say otherwise coated optics. Enhanced gun lane drive, definitely get the aim time down, otherwise it would be sort of like 4.5 seconds plus instead of the 3.9. So, you know, enhanced gun lane drive, you don't really need supercharge, although supercharge is always a nice thing to have. I'd say enhanced gun lane drive is going to be more useful. I'd say improved assembly over enhanced armour. Honestly, I mean, your turret is very strong, and you know, a little bit of extra armour on those weak spots isn't really going to help it that much, so I would say improved assembly for the extra HP. And then improved control, obviously, to get the hull traverse over 30 degrees per second, because it's still not great hull traverse. It's alright, but it's not, you know, amazing first class hull traverse. I mean, you could go with this for the extra power to weight, but honestly, I think, you know, the hull traverse is going to be more important. Vert stabs, you know, may get some shots on the move, or some snapshots on people trying to get around you, or you know, about to duck into cover. You don't really need refined gun to get it down to 0.30. 0.33 accuracy is still very nice accuracy. So I'd say vert stabs is going to be better. And then enhanced tracks, or toolbox. I mean, it's really your choice. And then your choice of whatever the hell those two things are. So yes, there you go. That is the K-91. I've had this tank for ages and ages and ages and never got around to doing a proper review because I never got some good gameplay for it. But now, the gameplay I have, the first battle, is really good. You should at least stay for that. You know, 4,500 damage dealt was a very good battle. But anyway, yes, so there you go, the K-91. I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.